Hey Joe, hope you're doing well, man. I'm looking a little. I'm looking on the camera. I'm looking a little unkept today. It's a cold day here, less than a week before Christmas, and we're. I'm gonna be doing some Christmas shopping today with Becky for the first time, and so yeah, that's what's going on. And um, I wanted to show you the good oods now. So when I started out with ouds, I was buying the factory made ouds because this is what is cheapest, and it's also hard to know whether you can find a good maker or not. You know, there's lots of expensive ouds, lots of expensive makers, but until you know, you don't know. Um, the first oud that I bought uh, was a Palestinian oud, and it was made by a guy probably in the Jerusalem area. I bought it in the old city, and it had some problems, but I had it fixed up by Najib Shaheen, who is a he's one of the Shaheen brothers, and he's a very important musician, and also an oud seller and an oud repair person and an oud an oud expert, an ustad, as they say in Arabic. He's somebody that knows about ouds, about Arabic music, all those things. And he got my first oud fixed up for me, uh, so that it was decent. And then I bought my second oud from him, which was a Turkish oud, and it was a little bit on the small side, and that's what I wound up recording verse with, which was my first album that I ever made and released. And that oud had a really nice sound, but it was small. It was a small sound. It's great for recording, but when I got my band together in 2003, 2004, it was just impossible to compete with the four, five, six other members that we had at the time. So I was always getting drowned out by my own band. So that sort of put me in mind for a louder instrument, better, more volume. And then I got into the sukars, as you saw, and that sukar did me pretty well. I also had a Turkish oud for a while that was a high-end factory-made jobber that it was nice, but it has a different sound than the Arabic sound, and I wanted a proper Arabic oud. So around 2012, I found a website called Oud Nazir Ghadban, and this was a Lebanese maker of ouds, and I contacted him and started talking to him about prices, and his stuff is handmade, and he's a maker, so this is a different level and a different thing. And I didn't really have any idea really what his oud sounded like, although there were videos and they sounded decent, but they just looked amazing to me. And I thought, and it seemed like there was a lot of people that knew about him and played his instruments. And I thought, okay, well, if they look that good and there's a lot of people that are playing them, and they sound decent on the videos, let's just take the leap. So I got in touch with my friend Pierre, who goes to Lebanon all the time, and I said, hey man, I don't know what you have going on right now, but there's this oud maker in Ras Baalbek, and I'm really interested in his ouds, and I was wondering if there's any way that you could go and meet with him, and maybe I could give you the money to buy the instrument, and then when you're coming back to the States, you could bring it with you. He said, who is it? And I said, it's this guy, Nazir Ghadban. And he said, oh, I know Nazir. He's like, yeah, I'll go see him, yeah. And Pierre was instrumental in me getting my first really, really great instrument. So that's this one here. And this is a 6 course standard Syrian style oud. Um, I was interested in it when I saw the pictures on his website. It didn't have a rosette, so I thought, okay, good. So that means just a little bit more sound for your for your instrument, and it looked really nice. And also, it was a reasonable price. It was one of his cheaper. It wasn't cheap by my standards, but it was cheaper among all of the instruments that he made. And so, as you can see, it's as you can see, man. I mean, it's it's really. Yeah, I'm holding it up now. Well, it looks pretty good on the camera. It doesn't look too bad the way that the light is. But this oud, man, I have taken this oud to the Middle East. I have traveled with it. I have recorded with it. I have done concerts with it, outdoor, indoor. I've done session work for people, and I have just really put this thing through its paces, and it's held up beautifully. I'm sorry to say that you can see damage. You can see just the wear and tear that I have put on it. I'm going to hold it up to the camera here so you can see. You see that area where my picking wore away on the face, and I'm going to play it here in a little bit. These are old strings. They need to be replaced. It's been in its case because I have new instruments now, and I've been neglecting it a little bit. But I recorded verse 2 on this, and our upcoming album, the debut album with my band, is on this. And it has a great sound. I fell in love with it as soon as I got it. And I've written so much music on it. I wrote a concerto with my for my band, my daughters that play with me, and we premiered it at a local university in 2018, and so that was really exciting. Just a lot of music that I've made on it, and it's been fantastic. It did start to kind of it it has no problems as far as playing goes. It has no problems to this day. It has held up and it's doing great, but cosmetically there's wear on the back here. You can see there's a lot going on with it, and here you can see there's some inlay there. Isn't that awesome? That's some inlay that he has, just a little bit of inlay on the back, and then of course he has some inlay different places. Yeah, you can see the workmanship. Everything just works great on this. I mean, this is just like everything works. There's no problems. There's no buzzing. The neck, after 10 years of playing the heck out of this thing, the neck is beautiful. And so it's really just a fantastic instrument. The model, he calls it the Salama. That's what he calls it. And his aficionados, some of them have messaged me and they're like, "Oh, I see you have bought a Salama. Oh, how do you like it? You know, I like your Salama. Will you sell it?" No, but I called it the Princess because when it came home, I told my girls, I was like, "Listen, this is a princess. Okay, you need to think of it like royalty. So don't even touch it. Don't even go near it. You know." If it's in your way, come and tell me. I'll move it. Don't pick it up and move it. You know, they were little at the time. They'd be laughing at me now if they heard me say that. But anyway, it's been a fantastic instrument. So I'm gonna try and play something on it for you. I want to play some rep so you can hear that, and then I may play one of my pieces so you can hear that too. I've done a lot of composing on it, but also a lot of performing. So. Here we go. This is the Princess, my first Ghadban Oud. And to everybody else, I know, Joe, you're not headed in the Oud direction, but for everybody else who stumbles on this, there are a lot of great makers, Oud makers in the Middle East. I don't know all of them, but as far as what I do know, uh, Ghadban, Nazir Ghadban is just a fantastic maker, and I can't recommend him enough. So here we go. This song is a classical Syrian song. It's in the form called the muwasha. It's a simple, formally, it's just a simple ABA sort of thing. But these muwashahat, the muwasha repertoire, is a pillar of Arabic classical music. And the lyrics, the poetry, it's traditional, very old, very high caliber Arabic poetry. And it's built on a mode called Shad Araban. Shad Araban has this augmented second that we associate with the Middle East. But it shifts between that and what's called Bayati Nawa, which would be and that's an A half flat. So A flat, A natural, A half flat, and quarter tone, right? So in our Western context, it's a quarter tone. In their context, it's a note. they don't distinguish. They don't have any special technical distinction between what we would call a quarter tone and what we would call a normal note. They're all normal notes for them. Theoretically, there are 24, possible notes in an octave in Arabic music, but in practice, they don't play, chromaticism or they don't play a hyperchromaticism. In practice, there is 7 tones or sometimes 8 tones in an octave, with inflections and ornaments that might stray into other notes. You might think of them as borrowed pitches or accidentals, but their scales tend to be divided 7 or 8 tones within an octave. Now, having said that, there's many more formulations of the octave than, in Western music we have the major and the minor, and that's kind of the basis, and then we have some other things. We have the old church modes and so on. They have the equivalent of all of our modes, and they have modes that are unique to them as well. Now, I'm speaking of Arabic classical music, Arabic theory. There's also Turkish theory, Armenian, Azeri, and they're all similar, and they all have differences and distinctions, and it is quite complex, and you will eventually, if you go into it and you look into it, you eventually get pretty overwhelmed. Most people focus on one particular nationality or culture, and kind of focus on that. So people that get into Turkish music, they stick with Turkish music, and people that get into Arabic music, they tend to stick with Arabic music. I'm talking about Westerners who go over there to learn, because Turkish and Arabic music are very closely related, but they're distinct and they have differences, and so it's like Portuguese and Spanish, a little bit, almost the same, but not enough the same to be the same. So anyway, this piece, the way that it uses these two maqamat, is not. It just kind of goes back and forth between them without really a proper modulation. And I heard one person say that it's not really proper, the way that it goes back and forth between Bayati Nawa and Shad Araban by modern standards, and that kind of indicates that maybe this is a really old song. So that's sort of the deal. Shad Araban and Bayati Nawa. carries it down. There's the A half flat down there. So this is Yad al-Qawam, Syrian Muwasha. You may hear me sing a little bit of it. Who knows? Here we go. So that's a little bit of rep. And now let me think. I want to play something of mine, something I wrote. What do I want to play? Oh, I'm going to play something off of Verse, which I composed in 2003. I didn't write it on this, but it works nice as a solo. Just a little bit of it. This is called Mashiha from Verse. A little bit of my stuff. Okay, so yeah, this is no longer my main squeeze. I've got the new one now, and it's better in every way. But this is a great instrument. It's a great backup. It needs new strings, and it probably needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But anyway, here it is. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm waiting for more videos from you, so hopefully this will kind of light a fire for you. You send me something pretty soon, and if I don't see you or hear from you between now and next Sunday, then Merry Christmas, and give my best to Anna. All right, man, take care.